man. Another one we were talking about. We were having a long conversation about slaves earlier. Another one, and that'll segue us into it. Another one was, dude, 12 Years a Slave. I'm telling you, I will recommend that again.
It's a classic.
You know what's so funny though?
I've never seen Roots either.
Oh, dude. Oh, hey, listen, I watched every single episode of Roots. I loved it, dude. I'm telling you, it was amazing. And you're like, episode, right? Yeah. That was the original, like, Netflix series, homie. That was in the 90s. It was a made-for-TV movie. And there was like 4 parts. It was amazing.
I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch 12 Years a Slave. So, all right. So, because of the, like, racism, what is it? Obsession that we have in this country.
Absolutely.
Like everyone's talking about all the time. Like,
yes.
I've been in like 100,000 arguments with people that I know, friends and family and all that. And everyone has like their own version of history. So because of this, I have gone down the rabbit hole. I bought 2 books. One of them is like 500 pages thick of the entire history of slavery. Another one is just about African-American slavery and like their whole history, if you will. I'm going to read all of them. I'm going to be talking about it on the show because I'm tired of people just coming with their own bullshit history. I just want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't care what it is. I have no opinion yet. I'm going to read it with an open mind. I have my history and my documentaries that I've watched and what I've established to be the truth, but I'm going to do a deep dive on it. I'm actually going to look into it, which most people don't fucking do, and find out really what it is.
Yeah, I think everybody has like this surface level understanding of what,
nobody
slavery
picks up
was.
a fucking book, dude. Everyone just talks their shit. They have their third hand information that they get. And they develop their opinions, but I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the heavy lifting. I wish I had the book right here, man. I'd show it to the people.
Hell, I'll tell you one better. I wish I did own slaves.
Free labor. What's not to love?
Wait a minute. That's a bad thing. Yeah, you know.
I'm at chapter 4 of the book, and so far in the history of slavery, everyone has owned everybody.
Yeah.
Is basically the bottom line of that.
Absolutely. Where did it begin? I mean, did anything about Asia as well?
Yeah, that's coming next.
Yeah.
So far, it's basically like we were cavemen and we were like hunter-gatherers and all that shit. Then we learned how to like farm and irrigate and like, develop more food than we needed. So like there was like, I guess like renegade peoples and tribes all over the place, but it wasn't easy to live back then. So it was actually conducive to a lot of people that were on their own to give themselves to like cultures that were more prosperous.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't have to like fend for themselves out in the wilderness, if you will.
Yeah.
And they would give their labor as payment. And that was kind of the birth of slavery. It became like a trade thing. And there's laws and all kinds. It's like, very intricate.
Can I come with you guys? I'll clean these. I'll do
basically,
this.
Yes. Yeah. Basically.
You know when it started? It was with cave people. And this dude's over there eating a brontosaurus dick, like they just caught it. And like this big guy, Yagnar.
The dick meat is the most tender.
Yeah. If you cook it just right, it's delicious. And this big guy, Yagnar, walks over there and he's like, this cave is dirty. It must be clean. And this dude's just sitting there eating a brontosaurus dick and he looks up and he goes, yeah, you clean it. And the dude's like, bigger. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I was going to finish this. He's like, I'm going to eat that too. No, you go clean the cave. And there you go. Slavery was born.
Banged his wife.
Ain't it funny that like everything began like that though? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like all these things that like trampled nations for the rest of the world was kind of just an idea at one point. Like, dude, yeah, we should do that.
I will say this though, like since I'm about like 50 pages in, I've learned a little bit about the history. All right, so our perception of slavery is from the modern times of like, oh, you shouldn't own people, like that's terrible. When you read the history of it, it makes sense how it came to be and why it was integrated as part of society. We're so far removed from it that it's unthinkable to us.
Yeah.
But in those terms, it actually made sense, dude.
Yeah.
And it wasn't it's not what you guys think. Get the book, man. It's not what you guys think. I'm going to keep reading it. I'll keep telling you about it like I said before, but it's not what people thought.
So it became this inherently evil thing, but it didn't start
not
this
at all.
way.
It was generally accepted throughout all the world. It was like a normal like way of doing business. It actually solved a lot of problems, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
It became insidious and it became taken advantage of as time goes on because power corrupts, right? Mm-hmm. We all know that. So if you have like true power over someone, you're gonna like your personality is gonna shift and change and get fucked up. But that's not how it started. There was actually a lot of like really good laws about like for the most part, the beginning times of slavery, it was more contractual work. So like you could have a slave for like 3 years. On the 4th year, you had to let them go free and give them back to their family and all that stuff. They would offer themselves up as slaves. They would actually choose to be slaves instead of choosing to be free. Most of them were treated very well for the most part throughout
pay
like,
off
the cultures.
Debts and shit.
Yeah, a lot of it was like a form of trade. That's all it was, man. And it was more like
if you had nothing else to give and you're like, well, what about time?
But it was like everyone was taking part of it of their own volition in a certain way, according to the book that I've read so far.
Yeah.
It's not just like this terrible thing where you just go and club a motherfucker and drag him from his family and shoot his wife in the head and then make him work for you for free. It wasn't that. It was an agreement for the most part.
Yeah. I just think I think everybody wants to say this was the worst, and this was the worst, and this was the worst.
Where it kind of shifted was after a certain point in society when we got good at like irrigation and farming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then we got settled into our lands instead of traveling around like, you know, like if the weather's bad here, you go here to get food and blah, blah, blah. And when we were able to settle, like, you know, so when we were able to settle, basically like cities grew bigger and bigger and become self-sustained, but they needed more labor to sustain that. So then conquerors came around. Then they started like just conquering tribes and villages and integrating their people into their own. And it became like regular business. So it was understood in ancient times that one day you could be a slave owner and then next day you could be the slave. So like no one had this like higher mentality. It wasn't about racism at all. It wasn't like this like holier than that. Like I'm better than your people. It was just like the way of the world.
Yeah.
So like you would like, so me and you say we were like really tough warriors or some shit like this.
Yeah.
We would get on our horses and conquer a town, take the women, take all their goods, integrate them into our thing, whatever, create a village. Then a more powerful village
Burn
would
the
come.
school.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
And then a more powerful village would come and then take your shit over. Now you're the fucking slave. So it was like on any given day that equation could shift.
That's how shit just was back then,
Yeah. So
right?
that's all it was.
Yeah.
It's just how it was back then.
Yeah, geez Louise,
man.
man, you know what the closest thing to slavery now is when I pull up to U-Haul and I walk up to the Mexican dudes chilling across the street and I walk over and I go, two, and I'll like slap and I'll go, two, and then he'll go, yeah. And I'll go, 5-bedroom house, $20, 5-bedroom house, $20. Just joking.
He's not joking.
No, bullshit.
He's
Dude.
not
I always
joking.
pay those guys good. I always hire them. And believe me, they wouldn't be standing out there if they didn't want to be hired. You know how much I give those guys? I always get 2 of them and I always give them $150 a piece, and no matter what the job is.
A slice of pizza and a thank you.
Yeah. No, they won't accept pizza. Look at me. Yo, they will not accept pizza.
Pizza's the
If you
best.
bust out pizza now, I think people for so long have been like, hey, I gave you the pizza too. That now if you offer them anything, I swear to God, if you're like, yeah, hey, I got a pizza, they're like, no, I don't want to eat. I don't want your pizza.
I'll take the
I want
money.
my money. I want money. I swear, dude. I'm telling you. And
Are you serious?
I swear to you, dude. I swear they will not accept pizza. Go ahead. Go out there, hire some Mexicans from you all. And now it's all, now they're by the book. Now they can like kind of name their price.
I come out back dressed like Chuck E. Cheese. I just have a slice and I'm like, so we're good, right?
Yeah. And then you eat it.
You missed a weed.
Exactly, man. But yeah, they won't accept no fucking snacks. Drinks, sure, but no snacks.